Hello everyone, welcome once again to Investing with the Difference. Yes, we are back after a long time. Apologies for missing out for such a long time, but it has been pretty busy time. We have been working on quite a few things and I kept on postponing doing these videos. I hope that I will try to cover quite a lot. Actually, there's a lot of things which I wanted to talk about. And as it happened, while I was thinking that I will do a video, there is a new development in last 24 hours. We are seeing a lot of discussion about CPU, and so let me start from there. So what really happened, I think let's look at first of all my account itself, like Investing with the Difference, pretty low on CPU. And I've even tried to do some recs, and usually many people are complaining that they're not able to even assign themselves recs because of lack of CPU, because they are already above 100%. Now there is good news. If you don't know, if you go to blocks, you just click here and make sure you toggle this switch on, and blocks will give you free transactions. Actually, they give you 5 free transactions every day, so you can actually make transactions and you can actually assign yourself recs. So that is one thing which I wanted to start with. But what is happening really is this particular project called IDOS. This is a token issuance event where they are trying to create like a 800 million token distribution for almost 15 months. So this is not a short time event. This is not a spam. This is not something which we were used to, where one of the developers was creating these CPU spikes. What we are looking at right now is probably a pretty long-term CPU crunch. So let's try to understand what's going on. And again, I'm not saying that this is a great project or anything. I did some research. They had published a white paper almost 1.5 years back, when they are claiming to be a kind of a chain on EOS.io. And they originally they used to call themselves Enomivo, and now they call themselves IDOS. Either way, I didn't see anything great in their white paper, but it seems it is a lot of people are excited about it, and they're trying to mine this token. And it is as simple as sending your EOS to this particular contract, and the contract sends it back along with these IDOS tokens. What is happening though is, because of this mining of these tokens, there is like a huge amount of transactions. And moreover, many wallets like MyKey wallet and many other wallets are nowadays giving free transactions. If you go through them, the CPU is paid by the wallets, and that is making it easy for people to mine. So this is something, let's see how long it goes on, because definitely it cannot be completely called a spam or an attack. It can, but it is also perhaps not fair for everybody. But again, let me be very clear. How this is being done is it's a valid, legitimate use case. Uh, they have created a certain smart contract, and they have their own way of distributing tokens. It's not necessarily wrong for anybody to do that, and any legitimate app can generate transactions. So I think the resource model of EOS was allowing us a lot of free transactions. When we had this 1 or 2 EOS stake, we were till yesterday I was doing tens of transactions on this account, but today I cannot even do one transaction because that's my fair allocation. Now what happens is, let's go to blocks.io. Currently we are almost at 100%, and you can see that currently, even though we had achieved 4000 transactions per second, but in reality we are doing like less than 200 transactions per second. And if you talk about a billion EOS out there, what you can do is actually you divide the total number of transactions by 1 billion. That's what each EOS deserves if we have fair allocation. Till now, we were getting pretty much free transactions, because we were getting like, if because the network was not at 100% capacity, so whoever uses it was getting extra leeway to use the network. So I think that was the reason, and of course things will keep improving, hopefully. But yes, they don't expect the CPU problem to go away in a short term. The secondly, I think what how it will work out. So let me explain. So again, originally I was planning to talk about 1.8 and 2.0 and all the new uh, exciting stuff happening in EOS in a positive way. But I think right now, while this is great, I think 1.8 has been already implemented. A lot of great features have been added to this, including apps being able to pay for the users, including a lot of additional security as well as uh, uh, features for dApps so that you can really make it easy to use apps. Now, similarly, we have very good announcements around EOS IO 2.0. What we are very excited about is that there is a very fast virtual machine which is coming up that will further increase the number of transactions per second. A lot of good tests have been done already on Jungle and some other test nets. All these things are great, but also it means is in future most of the time the user, like as you who is right now frustrated about lack of resources, CPU, net, and so on, it will become a responsibility of dApps to go and pay for it. In the meantime, dApps will have to go and rent resources from Rex. So as you see, since yesterday, in last 24 hours or so, the Rex price is shooting up. So Rex value was slowly going up, and suddenly, if you were not leasing to Rex, I think you missed this big jump because, and we do expect Rex to continue going up because only 100 million tokens or 102 million tokens are in Rex. So only 10% of supply is in Rex, which is strange because I think this is one of the best way to go and support EOS chain. I did talk about it earlier that everybody should hold their own tokens in their wallets, and Rex is the best way to hold it because this also gives you a return on a daily basis. So by the way, in the last 24 hours, if you convert the annual rate of return, Rex was giving 14% return. Now a lot of people, there's I today I don't think I will go into all the discussions around the rewards and the proxies and all the I think mining issues on EOS. We have been discussing that. A lot of people are already talking about it, but think about it, just Rex is able to give you 14% return when the usage suddenly spikes. This is the kind of things which I think EOS was built for, and I think still you see that a lot of people are still not putting their tokens in Rex, which is I think the bigger miss you are having as compared to 2 or 3% rewards which you are trying to do gain by voting. Now, anyway, coming back to the Rex itself, I would say that at this moment, most of the Rex is borrowed out. Only 29 million is remaining, and it's dropping very fast. Every time I reload, it comes down, and Rex loans are becoming expensive because of this heavy usage. Um, I think till yesterday or even little while back, we were able to get for every one EOS, we were able to get 4,000 EOS in Rex staked. But right now it's only 411, so it's almost like 90% drop, which has happened in last 24 hours itself. So this can lead to continuous high returns on Rex. So watch out for that. That is another implication of what is happening. But in general, I think it's whether it's a legitimate app or is it just a kind of a bad implementation, I would say, of an airdrop, because they are trying to do every second they're trying to generate so many different transactions. But either way, this is, you can call it as the usage of the network which is leading to this kind of a requirement, and somebody is paying for the CPU. It's not that they are getting it for free and they are spamming it while others are not getting it. There somebody like the wallet providers, the supporters who are paying for the CPU, they are actually paying uh, for running these transactions, and whoever pays more when the CPU is congested, they do get extra bandwidth. So that's usually how things are designed. So again, EOS is working as designed. There is no real issue here. It's just a matter of we are seeing real usage, whether you agree with it or not. Now, coming back to what else is happening, I would say um, continuous improvements are, I think EOS has been changing since day one. So I did want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about how 1.8 came about very fast. If you see the amount of changes which came into 1.8 and even before 1.8, and the continuous upgrade cycle of EOS, um, we are still, by the way, do you know that Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're all still stuck on the same level where they were, uh, like when they started out, like especially Ethereum. It has never ever gained any performance boosts, while EOS, I think we are at least 6 to 8 times, I keep hearing, we have improved from the day we launched in terms of performance. So these are the things I think which matter, and once we go to EOS 2.0, we are talking about much higher level of boost again. So, in summary, there is nothing really wrong right now with EOS. It's just that somebody is has designed a use case which is supported by the community wallets and so on for free CPU, and a lot of people are using this app. Whether you like it or not, that doesn't define whether this is right or wrong. And this is mostly, you can call it mass adoption, you can call it usage of the network or spam. But I think what will happen, as a summary, I think Rex returns will keep going higher. And as you know, the Bancor algorithm, just like RAM spiked in early days, there is a good chance that this Rex can keep increasing. So let me reload. So as you can see, just while I was doing the video, you see how the rate of Rex is falling very fast. And that also means that the price of Rex is going very fast higher, you see here. So as we see this, I hope that more and more tokens come into Rex, because right now it says opposite effect. So some people are actually withdrawing from Rex, which is strange, because the logic was that as the Rex return increase, more and more people should deposit into Rex. And it is very strange that 90% of the tokens are not in Rex, and it will be interesting to see how that changes. Secondly, as a user, you are still getting able to make transactions, especially the wallet transactions and so on. Use the features from free wallets like blocks.io and Mikey wallet, and many other wallets I think are giving free transactions. Secondly, I think overall this is great for usage, and if you are already holding your tokens in Rex, you are actually gaining from this usage. Secondly, if you're also like doing the Rex, and as you know that if you're voting with us, or if you're voting for anybody, you can do that. Rex also has a requirement for you to vote, and it is good for the network if more tokens come into this and more people vote. Now, even though I'm not interested in discussing that today, because there are a lot of other good things to talk about, but a quick note is, more and more people are moving away from investing with the difference proxy because they're trying to earn rewards. And I think overall, definitely EOS governance is not operating the way we wanted it to. I'm still a big believer that this 2% or 3% return, which people are chasing for this reward proxies like Nudex, or even EOS Nation started their proxy. I think a lot of other Western BPs have joined. So I have also been helping with many block producers who are like very high quality block producers, and we started value proxy. So the value proxy, even though like principally I don't think that investing with a difference account will change the voting philosophy, but I'm also helping as a voting administrator for value proxy, which is giving out rewards from the BPs. But the good news is, while the voting philosophy is for voting for BPs, it's also putting objective criteria of performance and availability in terms of APIs, in terms of performance on the network of CPU. All those things we are enforcing on block producers who are joining this proxy. And so that is a one way of implementing reward proxies versus something like Nudex or Big One and all those people, the exchange based proxies which are just voting for the highest bidder. So in general, I think if you want to really earn that 2 or 3% annual reward, by the way, when I say 2 or 3%, it is if you hold your tokens for 1 year in these proxies, you will get 1 or 2 or 3%. In crypto world, if you're relying on these returns, I think it's a shame because, as you know, EOS token price moves by 10% sometimes in one day. So it's not really worth it. But if you do, please consider the proxies which have much higher values in terms of quality. Similarly, I think Colin has started a proxy, a reward proxy, and he's doing a lot of great work in trying to go and find quality BPs. The reason I think I supported value proxy is because it's objective. So once you're going to for rewards, it's always important to not let 1 or 2 people decide who should be in there, because by human nature there is always a potential for looking for some benefits. In this case, the good news is that it is very objective in, and it's everything is transparent on how the BPs are selected. You can go to this account, vote for value, there is a contract, and you can see all the details there. And from for that perspective, I'm not completely unhappy that investing with the difference is slowly wrapping down as a proxy, because the trend is moving towards reward proxies. And also, a lot of people had been questioning me of why I'm making certain decisions. So all, and I think all of you who have been with investing with the difference since before launch of EOS, and it's been a long time now, you know that the basis of why we were voting for certain block producers. I still believe in that, and I will still keep voting for that if you want to keep your tokens with investing with a difference. And we do want to make sure that the best quality BPs are voted in. But having said that, it was still decision based on me. And similarly, I think a lot of other proxies like EOS Nation proxy, there is no objective criteria. Even Collins proxy, I think while he's a great guy and he has some great ideas, and even Brock Pierce, who is proxy, all these are pretty much 1 or 2 people making decisions. So there is no real. I have not seen any other proxy where there are real objective metrics. This is why I think this is one of the reward proxies which I stand behind, and it is started by some of the best BPs, even from a performance perspective, like Aloha, Greymass, Eosphere. All these people contributed in setting up this proxy, and as we all know, they have been very, very good with making sure that EOS network performs at the best capabilities. So that is, I think, another reason I would definitely recommend if you are really moving out from investing with the difference, or if you're interested in reward proxies, go try value proxy. Now, what are the other things? I think while we now actually entered this whole EOS governance debate, so let me highlight one of the tweets which I had mentioned. So Brandon Bloomer, I have criticized him earlier about supporting vote buying and all other issues, and I still believe that we had a pretty great system in EOS, and we should not encourage vote buying. But we also need to understand that token holders are speaking out by voting, and we can all discuss it in Telegram channels, in Twitter, and wherever. These are individual opinions, and perhaps I was too much of an idealist, but ultimately EOS is working the way it is designed, and there is no other chain which has governance as we wanted in EOS, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. Token holders have no say, but EOS is the only chain where token holders have decided who should be the block producer, what should be implemented on chain. So it is working in that way. Yes, perhaps we don't like the quality of BPs in the top, but that is again a choice of token holders. So whoever holds most tokens, they are able to say it. But as a community, we are trying to improve. So we should not create a negative feeling around, oh, we need to fix governance. there is always improvements possible. But let me tell you, let's think about when we talk about democracy. I don't think any democracy is perfect. We all have our opinions. We all have our issues against our leaders. Like we do have concerns about corruption. We have all kind of ethical, unethical behavior in politics. This is exactly when you talk about governance, you're talking about humans, because ultimately, when we talk about block producers, they are run by humans. And when you talk even within a single country, we see so many issues running a democratic government. And you're talking about a global blockchain with so many regions, so many different nationalities, with so many different values. It's very difficult to get an ideal governance. So as a community, I still see a lot of hope, because when I have been still interacting with all kind of regions, I have been in touch with China, Australia, European, US block producers, almost everybody I talk to. I still have a lot of hope, because these are approachable people. Everybody wants good for EOS. And yes, when there is a competition, there is a chance to win the top spot. Some of them have more influence, especially the Chinese and the Asian BPs, and they are able to get to that level. But and maybe they are not as seen as contributing as much as the some of the others which we are used to. But that doesn't mean that they are not trying to do their own best. um, the only thing which I'm against is the exchanges voting somebody else's token on their behalf without getting the permission. That's something I would still keep opposing. But I think overall, it's always about the betterment of the system. There's nothing wrong, as we discussed, the 1.8 migration, the 2.0 migration, the software is improving. There's a continuous progress on EOS technically. We have some great apps which are working. We have a very high performing chain if you compare with any other layer 1 protocol. Finally, what is happening on layer 2 means, I think a lot of people are talking about it. I'm sure many of you already follow like liquid apps, which is a great layer 2 solution. And we, even from a block start, which is our technical division accelerator, and a lot of other things we are doing, we have also started a DSP. And we ourselves have innovated a lot. We have created a Rex style leasing plans for DApp tokens, which are the layer 2 tokens and for scaling EOS. I think how I visualize is that these are the kind of things which will change how dApps operate. So the biggest thing is that we believe that ultimately the EOS will scale at many different levels. Already at a protocol level, we are maybe 20 to 30 times better than Ethereum, even if we don't look at the peak rates. If we look at again, I always look at this actual rates. I think even like Ethereum at actual rate right now is doing perhaps 8 to 10 transactions per second, where we are doing like 100 to 200 transactions per second. And we can, and by the way, these are transactions, and every EOS transaction contains many actions, and Ethereum cannot do that. So it is not really the scale is not the same. We are at least 25 to 30 times better at a base layer, and in some cases we are actually 100 times better than something like Ethereum or anything else. And then if we add on top of it the layer 2 solutions, which is let me say liquid apps solutions, which is I think pretty solid in terms of how things can scale. We have already seen with VRAM how the RAM cost was handled. We have already launched many apps, like I think Moonlighting is one of the prominent ones, which is using VRAM. And they are actually able to save a lot of cost using that. And now they have also announced vCPU and many other services. So I do see that ultimately these multiple layer solutions will solve these issues. And it's not a I think I'm not completely convinced that we have hit a dead end, as some people are trying to portray. So either on governance side or on technical side, these are all challenges when you give most of these, like in technology we always hit a wall, and that's when people innovate, that's when you find new solutions. And in the case of EOS, we have not even hit that wall. What we have seen is, like in Ethereum, the things are not moving at all, but in EOS you are seeing at least a roadmap for EOS 2, where you are seeing so many performance enhancing proposals. We are seeing layer 2 solutions in parallel being worked by EOS community. Even the side chains and sister chains, we can call it, are progressing very well. I keep hearing about great innovation in Boss, Telos, and Verbly is trying to do a lot of things. So a lot of great stuff is happening in EOS.io in general. So that is something which we should all look out for, and work constructively to see how we can influence and improve. So that's, I think, most of the things I wanted to focus on. Another thing which I'm very excited about is this demo. I don't know if you have seen it. Block One had released a EOS Authenticator, if you remember. This was after all the hype about Block One wallet. They had actually given out an open source authenticator, and I personally use it already. So let me show you how it works. So let me go to my investing with the difference account, and if you look at my keys, I have added another active key here. Now this key was generated by EOS Authenticator app on my iOS phone. What that means is that I will never ever see the private key of that. So this Authenticator app created a private key on my iOS wallet, and it is a secure element wallet, and nobody can extract the key out of it. It is one of the highest security implementation on iPhones, and now I can sign transactions using that EOS Authenticator on any app which integrates the EOS Authenticator. By the way, this blocks.io already supports it. So if you go here and you say add account, and you can see EOS Authenticator here, and I hope more and more people will integrate this, and I'm very excited about this feature. So if you have not seen it, it is amazing to use. You don't need to worry about Apple now removing your wallets like Token Pocket and others from the, and in those, most of those wallets, you have to enter your private key as a text, or you scan your private key. It is very risky to send your private key or store it not in a secure element. Now this is really a secure way of using mobile wallets, and I hope that more and more wallets integrate this EOS Authenticator going forward. So these are just some of these things which are already functional. These are like not a concept, these are actually functional features of EOS. So now, of course, we have not talked about price. I wanted to touch base. I think today we are seeing some good movement on EOS, but in general I would say that price will take care of itself. But in terms of progress of EOS, in terms of usage, it is really already one of the best and moving ahead. And I have no doubt that the dApps should only consider EOS right now. I cannot recommend them any other chain where you can make usable apps, where you can have great user experience, and the highest performing chain out there. Perhaps it's a bad day to talk about this, because I'm sure many of you are frustrated with the CPU. But I think, as I explained, and we spent a lot of time today, this is maybe a temporary thing. Hopefully the resource management will be improved. This is our, as I am saying to everybody, this is perhaps our CryptoKitty moment. Remember that when Bitcoin was super successful in late 2017, early 2018, even every transaction fees was $50 for Bitcoin at one point. And that is actually what we are seeing today. EOS Rex cost is becoming expensive because there is usage, and that is bound to happen in any blockchain will never be free. Like when I say never be free, it is still free if you have enough stake to EOS. But if in case you are using Rex and you are not willing to commit to big resources, then you need to pay for that. So that's how it is. And but still, because of the possibility of free transactions on EOS, you still see these great features from blocks.io, where you can do 5 transactions per day free, where you're seeing Mikey wallet in China, which is giving free transactions. All these things are still available. So that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I think I'm still already losing my voice, as you must have felt. Not doing very well recently, but I think I will try to do more and more videos, and I hope that we will keep this relationship going as a EOS community and keep the hope alive. I think there have been a lot of negative vibes in the community I have seen recently. I think we just need to take this into our stride and assume that challenges will come, but perhaps this is the best place technically to be around, to make sure that we get to the other side, where we really see real world use cases coming out on blockchain, which we are all excited about. So thanks once again. I hope that we will talk very soon, and I will definitely cover a lot more things and the insights which I'm excited about in near future. And remember, the reason I was not able to do videos is because we are doing a lot of building, and trust me, there has never been a better time to build on EOS, and that is what I want you to take away as a message. There is no way I will ever think that EOS is going downhill in any manner technically, and that's what will matter in long run. So thank you once again. Bye for now, and we will keep coming back and talk to you about what we are doing in the next videos.